Hey everybody, so we are back for part 3 of the hood install. So if you haven't seen the first 2 parts, make sure you go and check those out. I could provide links to those in the description. And with this hood up and propped up, ready to go, we also have all our parts here. You have the different brackets. We have our parts here, the tools that are needed for the job. Hopefully all the tools we'll need. Can't forget some of your anti-seize. I could also see if I can get a link for that as well. But anyway, so we're going to start off with doing some quick measurements, trying to get the brackets set up here, following the wonderful instructions that we have from Wild Horses. Thank you. It says to measure our brackets to the outside edge, which, by the way, these edges are quite sharp because I'm not really going to be touching these very much or anything like that. I'm not worried about it, but just keep in mind that, you know, if I were to slide my finger across this, I'd probably end up cutting myself. So here we go here. It's supposed to measure 13 inches is the recommended distance to the outside of the bracket, which go to about here. But their big concern was making sure that both sides are even, and the fact that this is a 1/2 inch, which it is. So the measurement, at least for this Bronco, is what it is on the actual sheet for instructions, so the 13 inches. But if for some reason your firewall is sitting a little bit different than mine, or if someone else's, just want to make sure that you get a 1/2 inch from the firewall out is what they recommended. So yeah, triple checking my measurement here, but yeah, 13 inches, and it's 1/2 inch from the firewall. From there, I'm just going to push it in all the way to the edge, like so, and then give myself a little bit of a mark here. I really need to get me one of those paint pens at some point. I'll go ahead and remove this here. And then with that marked, one of the things that it suggests is to go ahead and mount the actual ball here. We have this ball, and this is going to be for the actual hood shock, and it's a 1/2 inch. But before I do that, I'm going to use some of the anti-seize. Also recommends using a little bit of anti-seize when you have stainless and stainless touching together. And while I'm doing this, if you end up liking what you see, not necessarily the anti-seize, but if you end up liking the videos and what I'm showing you guys, and you're new to the channel, don't forget to like and subscribe. Definitely hit the thumbs up. It helps the channel out. You know, I'm doing this for you guys. All right, so on this one here, so I'm just tightening it down. It comes with a lock washer. So it's a little plastic on the inside here that will help keep the nut on. And so this here is 1/2 inch on both sides. You can get it started there, like so. Goes on pretty tight. Then I'm just going to wipe off a little bit of the anti-seize on here. And while I'm at it, might as well do the other one just to get it done. Got a question for you guys. Question is, do you want music in the videos? Kind of on the fence. Kind of want to provide some music. One of the things I've noticed on many videos out there. It doesn't have to be car related. I put a lot on there. It doesn't have to be car related. Just YouTube videos in general tend to have music to some degree. Of course, you have to worry about copyright issues and things like that. But I'm sure I could find me some free music that I could provide, put a little more into the video. But I don't know, sometimes I feel like the music can draw away from what you're actually doing or trying to accomplish. And I'm definitely no video editor pro. So, but if you guys are interested in music being a part of the videos, during certain parts of the videos, I guess I could just go ahead and do these ones as well. Probably end up speeding up some of this too. You guys like it when I speed it up to get past some of the mundane parts? Or do you really want to see the knit and grit? Definitely make sure to provide your feedback. Do what I can to make the videos more enjoyable for you guys. You'll notice as you watched maybe the other videos, I only put a little bit on one side, and then as it spins on, it will spread the anti-seize around. So. One more done. So as far as for this, you want to have, this is going to go 23.5 inches, somewhere around this area here. And I was told to put the ball on the outside, and then the fender bracket, well, the ball will be on the inside pointing out, and then it'll crisscross. So that's what I'm doing now, is just setting this one up. Thanks for keeping up, camera girl. Okay, so like I said, I just provide a little bit there. Let's get on the thread. And then when I spin it on, do the trick, make a mess. And once again, I like to have the shiny side out, like so. And then the nut. Oh, by the way, you don't need to really get, this is an 8-ounce bottle. Really don't need to get anything bigger than this. I've had this thing like just forever. So just FYI. All right, so now we have all the balls on. And now we're just gonna go and get our drill on. Really great set, by the way. I got this, I believe, at Lowe's. It's the Dewalt 20-volt set, and has the light on here, which is really nice when you're trying to drill or cut holes or whatnot. I do need to drill an 1/8 inch hole. Ta-da. I'm just gonna put this back here, double check, make sure my pencils are fine, and they are. See if I have enough hood room, and I do. There's multiple layers, so that's why it's catching. There we go. That's one. One more to go. Looks like marking's just a little off now that I got the hole there. Let's see. All right. Looks a little bit better. There we go. This one's just a little snug because it's catching on the threads a little bit. Basically, I'm going to slowly slide that down. It's just it was just catching on the threads, but there we go. And that's funny. It's actually being held by the threads underneath. All right, so now that that's all the way down, I can have a better idea on the placement of this. See if I can get this in here like so, and you just tap it and it will give a nice little mark, hopefully. It's kind of like extra work, but tolerances of this being screwed on. I just want to make sure that I only drill it once if I could help it. So I have two little indentations there. They're very small, but I could see them. I can actually feel them. It's enough. And then make sure that this hole, yep, it's fine. And I'll be able to reach up from underneath for the nuts on the other side, so that'll be good. Now, try not to hurt myself or the wiring. Should be fine. Double walled as well, it looks like. That wire is in the way. So I'm going to stop the camera for a sec and have my daughter help me hold this down so I don't end up catching the drill bit on it and causing any more troubles than I need to. So we'll be back in a minute. So we got the two holes down here drilled out, and like I said, I had my daughter help hold this back, pull this back, so I try not to do any damage to it. So I got the two holes here. And then once again, you just have the ball on the outside. And you want to try to get all your parts through here. Although before I do that, it might be a little easier with the anti-seize. So, and all over my hand. Okay. You know that's how I roll. Okay, got one. I didn't say I was a professional anti-seizer. Or a professional anything in matters of mechanics. Hey, this is probably a good time to put a disclaimer out there. I am not a professional, if you haven't figured that out already. I am just a weekend mechanic like most of you. Looks like this one still wants to stick, but that's okay. Give it a little help. Yeah. And in theory, because I did a mark on there. These should hopefully go through just fine with the bracket in place. Hopefully. And the bracket, I noticed, is a little not bent all the way, but I figured once I start screwing it in, hopefully not getting anti-seize all over everything. See, the light's really nice to have. Now, I don't want to screw that one in all the way. I only did the top ones just because I want to make sure I'm pushing it down enough to figure out what I'm doing while I'm talking. Make sure that it goes down enough so that the holes line up with these ones. But other than that, I'm trying not to tighten them all the way down here. It's going to be the same boat, or I'm going to have to... Let's just say these brackets are probably not going to go anywhere. And I got anti-seize all over my hands. And all over everything. I also didn't say it was very clean either. Okay. Hey, how about that? Actually lined up the holes okay. All right. So now I already have the anti-seize on there. I can now put these washers on. Hopefully, maybe. Got my big hands. This is going to be fun. I'm going to try to do the double up here. So there's barely enough room for my big old hands. Maybe I'm starting to second guess my thought about rounding out the edges a little bit on these parts. So now my hands are getting nice and close. Probably gonna have a little cut marks on there. Now this is where the driver, half-inch driver, I was expecting would come in handy. Now let's see if that is true. With this here. Oh, maybe not. Because the bracket's in the way. I'm probably going to have to go with half-inch socket with a swivel on a swivel. Try to do that. I didn't think about the bracket here being in the way for me getting straight access. And the reason why I didn't go straight to the open-end wrench is because there is very little wiggle room in here, which I had a feeling would happen. I do have a little bit smaller half-inch. We can see if this one will squeeze in there. And if, oh, okay. I didn't think it would fit. But I wonder if we'll be able to get the other one like that too. You know what? Now that I have 3 in there, I can get it back out. Bring my wrench. I just had a thought of removing this one, because this one's going to be really hard to get to. Be able to get this wrench in all the way through into the back to be able to get to this one. So if you happen to see this, maybe you could avoid this extra time I'm spending. There we go. Try not to drop the washer. Oh, for the bolt. Yeah, that thing's like digging into my knuckle. See if I can get the washer on. Oh, you know what's in the way is the back side of this nut here.
Okay, so it's fighting me from one end to the next. So this one has the nut on both sides, has the nut on the other side. So that's actually keeping me from accessing this bolt and nut from this direction. So when I reach in here, it is literally right in the way of this bolt. So the only way to get to this bolt is on the back side. Wow. And there goes that washer. Oh, found another problem. It's a good thing that this one seems to screw in just fine, because you know what? I actually can't do nothing with this one personally. What I didn't know, oh wait, here, hold on. Okay, maybe you guys would be a little bit smarter than me. What I just discovered is this bolt right here is right in that, against the inner fender. So I can't even get the nut on, nor alone a washer. So it looks fine here. If I were to put the washer here, everything looks hunky-dory, but I'm filling up underneath it right now, and where the hole is, the screw sits flush against the inner fender. So that really sucks. Luckily, it goes in just fine. I'm going to put my other bolt back in. I'll put that washer back on with the nut. After I went through the lovely headaches of trying to get this on. Let's see, I'm going to try to hold it. Oh, I try to screw this in. So this one went on. You can see that it clicked on me, so it's tight, but it definitely doesn't have any like washer or nut on it, unfortunately. But this thing, I don't even have the bottoms on there. It's not going anywhere. If for some reason it changes where it wants to move or do something, I will find out. Hopefully you guys will learn from my mistakes and you will move this bracket out enough so that you can get your washer and nut in there. So, all right, moving on. Now I'm going to reach up underneath here. These other ones somewhere. The easier ones of the bunch. Then I get to add a washer and a locking nut to my collection of extra parts. Got that bracket in. Next step is to take the shock. Just do a quick test. So you have two ends here, this end and this end. You want to line this up here like so. Just trying to figure out where this is going to go, because I want to make sure that, when it comes down, it comes inside. I don't want it binding up here. So I want it to come inside here, come up. A little concerned about it hitting. And I just realized that my fender's sticking out right here too. There's some, shine some light on it. Yeah, it's sticking out right there. just so I don't end up damaging the shock, I think I'll just go ahead and give that a quick pounding beforehand. Just fold this a couple of times. Should bend fairly easy. Or not. I'm gonna switch sides here. A little paranoid with the hammering after what happened with my arm. So that got this flattened out here, so that's good. And then probably could come down on it, although we'll leave it for now because it actually somehow this got pulled up on. I'm not sure why, but it got pulled up on. You can see how it's kind of bent around that, but that's another day for another project. But at least I got this flattened out a little bit. I don't want to catch the shock on it if I can help it. But yeah, so I have the hood hinge. It's gonna go somewhere around here. Then this gets hooked to here, and then this gets lined up like so, somewhere around there. And hopefully once they're buttoned on, this should lower down right inside this. So fingers crossed. Now the next step that we need to do is we need to do a measurement with 23.5 inches from right over here at this point of the hood all the way up to the back end of the bracket here at 23.5 inches. So since it's upside down and I need to be able to have measuring tape and try to mark and hold the bracket, we're gonna cut the camera here for a sec. Daughter doesn't want to be in the camera, so I'm gonna cut the camera, do the quick measurement. I can show you the measurement once we come back and go from there. All right, so we're back here. Going to do some measuring for the hood. Want to get 23.5 is the mark what we're aiming for. This 23.5 will indicate the back end of the brace. The hood bracket here. So then, so marked here at 23.5 inches. I'm going to put the hood bracket at 23.5 inches at the back end of it. Like so. And then I'm just going to line it up with the framing here. And then going to mark once I get it lined up here. The center hole. Like so. And then what they recommend on the lovely piece of paper I have on here, that it should just do the one hole, and then we used one of our handy dandy self-tapping screws. Double check, make sure it fits in here just fine, and it does. It says to actually drill out a hole for it, but mark and drill out an 1/8 inch hole. Basically, I just want to drill a little bit of a hole so I can then self-tap. No take backs. really paranoid about this. There we go. Go really slow. You don't want to punch through the other side. That would not be good. All right. I am not a fan of fiberglass. Just telling you right now. Raises my anxiety levels. Makes a nice big mess too. But with that said, excited about this hood. Having shocks, so here we go. Let's try this again. Hey. Almost seems like I know what I'm doing. That was better. This one here that I put in seemed to work really nice. And it was a 6 on my chart. The paper says 1/8 inch. Unfortunately, I don't have 1/8 inch on the chart. Doesn't say anything on my drill bit. That's just one of my little ordeals I have to worry about. All right, so now next step is to clear me some space. So I need to test this out. Might even speed up the video so you can speed clean. Wouldn't that be nice if it was a real thing? I don't know if I'm supposed to squeeze it on or if it'll pop on. Never actually worked with. Might have to use a pair of grips and squeeze it on. Let me take a quick peek at this. La 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 la. Could be kind of funny with me talking while I'm reading this and I speed up the video and it sounds like I'm a chipmunk. Time to take the gloves off. Getting serious. Gloves are off now. Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay, so there's like these interesting like clips. I don't know if you guys can see this, but it slides over and around and it snaps on. And you undo that and slide it out. It's really small. Try not to lose these. And put them right on the paper. Looks like there's one on each side. I thought I was gonna have to like clamp it. Hey, read instructions, right? And they just kind of, that's actually pretty neat. Like I said, I've never installed shocks before, so. Okay. There we go. Check it out. Problem I'm having right now is I'm taking a big risk by trying to test it like they say, but the problem is when I try to lower it down, it's moving the shock, but not by a lot, and it's twisting the bracket. But they say don't put more holes in because you know, you don't want to, if you need to move it or something, then, you know, you're kind of stuck in a position to have all these extra unwanted holes. But I also don't like the idea of potentially stripping the one screw that's in there. So I don't know. I'm just going to hope for the best, honestly, because I feel like I could do more harm than good. Because this started to twist like this. I don't know if you guys can see it, and I don't like that, and I don't want to damage the screw hole that's there now by trying to test it, because it felt so tight and ridiculous. I just hope that the shock is good, not damaged or anything. Those shocks just don't want to move. I'm assuming it's because the hood is, you know, has some decent weight to it. Wants to be able to, you know, pop it up and leave it up, but I don't know. So I'm just gonna go for it and hope for the best. I kind of looked at the alignment earlier, where it seems to be lining up pretty nicely with the two different brackets. So yeah. Anyways, so I'm gonna just tap these with the bracket in place. And then go ahead and put my glasses back on, my gloves back on, remove the bracket. And then I'm gonna lower it down and all that, see how it looks. Gonna rinse and repeat the process and get her done. But I'll just show you guys just the one side, and then, you know, feel free to leave comments. Yeah, if you prefer to actually see both sides done, but they're, you know, like in future stuff that's kind of symmetrical, where I do one side then I do the other side. But I figure the best thing is just to do the one side. You guys will get it, learn from some of my mistakes, learn from my own mistakes, and do better on the other side. So feel my blood pressure rising. Actually, have the wife warning me about dinner, so I better finish up. Just like letting the food go cold so I can finish this up. So close. So at this point, fingers crossed. tightened them most of the way down. And I'm just gonna give a, I don't want to overdo it with the bit, the drill. There we go, see. Going into fiberglass, you don't want to overdo it, but you want to make sure that they're actually on all the way. All right. Then I'm gonna go ahead and got my little bits here. So let's see if I can figure this out. I'll put this on, and then okay, I gotta look. Really tiny hole to get this through. Or maybe if I start it. Let's see. There we go. Something like that. And move the light. Fingers crossed this goes well. A 1x2, by the way, seems to fit pretty good up in there. I feel pretty confident that it's all right. Got one in. Now to see. It's nice to know the hood stays up. Just with the one, but you really want to have both so you don't end up tweaking the hood. So I'm going to try to control this. Ta-da! That worked. All right. Sweet. Oh. Nice. We did it. Thanks, you guys. Appreciate the help. Now I just need to do the other side. I'm going to lower the hood. Make sure that I don't overstress the fiberglass more than I already have. And then do the other side. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you appreciated learning from my mistakes and won't do the same mistakes that I did. And I'm going to try not to repeat that same mistakes on the other side. And, well, I now don't need a hood prop anymore. I won't be needing one anymore. So that's good. Therefore, it's all done. Thank you so much, you guys, for watching part 3. Once again, if you haven't seen part 2 or part 1, go back and watch those, and feel free to comment and hopefully subscribe if you like what you see. If this is your first time here, don't forget to give a thumbs up. It always helps the channel. We have fender flares coming up. Got a couple of unboxings and some suspension stuff. I got all kinds of things coming up in the works. Sorry I haven't been able to get them to you guys sooner. Going to try to post more frequently, but we'll, life, right? So we'll do it the best we can. Thanks again for watching. Till next time. See ya.